baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real. Hey, what's going on? Good morning. Wake up, up you wake. Yep, got that from school days. Yes, she did. And I will acknowledge where I got things from. This is the New Year's show. We talking about Let It Go, not the Disney movie Let It Go, so don't come trying to sue me because I don't have nothing. But we letting it go. We talk about our pet peeves today. I couldn't wait. I was excited about today's show because there's a lot of things that has happened during this year, and we just got to just let it go and leave it in 2018 because we move into 2019. Even some of those people we got to shake off, okay, honey? Got to shake them off. We got the go-to girl. Kim Ham, the go-to girl, is here.
Hey, good morning.
Rugo will be here. I guess he acting like it is New Year's Eve already. He got to get dressed. Get dressed for the party. And he will be here soon, and we just going to chop it up. We got some music for you, some throwbacks, some of my faves. And we're going to take some requests, so y'all know what to do. Hit me up in the chat and say what you want to hear, and I plan to play it. But sometimes if the conversation get too deep, guess what? We go shop talk. That's how it goes. So what's going on?
Just sitting here waiting for the last few days. I had to work this week, which was okay because all the bosses were off. So everybody's like, are you taking vacation time? I said, I am on vacation.
I heard that.
Emails aren't popping. Phones aren't ringing. Nobody asking me for anything. So I'm good this week. Just getting ready to go into 2019 with some new views and attitudes.
I heard that. That's it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell. You got to have a new view and a new attitude. I had a guest coming on, and I want to shout him out because he planned on being here. He was coming too. Cliff Harden. He was coming. He's an author, and his book is off the hook. It's off the hook. It kind of like, he tells his story and his view of growing up in the church. Mm-hmm. And it was a church in the Youngstown, Ohio area. And I ain't going to say was, it is, because it's still currently going and active. And some things that went on in the inside of the church. And it wasn't just the Catholics that was dealing with this. This was a black church.
Oh, yeah.
He
I
told
do know
us.
Some of the churches in our area.
And that's something.
People share those stories, yeah.
And I'm like, before. What the heck is going on? But what happened with him, I look, he's in the hospital. He gets in a terrible car accident. Now, we were sitting there talking. He's written a book a while ago, and there's another one that's coming out, and I wanted him to talk about that, which is, I can't think of the title right now. Charge it to the universe. How about that? Because I ain't going to say charge it to me, because I'm like, let me get together here. Charge it to the universe. Not personal. But he ends up getting into a bad car accident before he came, and we were just going to shop talk on a New Year's show, and I'm like, oh man, and a picture was posted of him on Facebook. I looked down and I'm like, wait a minute, is that Cliff? And then I looked, I was like, oh man, so it was like glass in his face the whole night. So we keeping him lifted up in prayer. Yeah. And let me tell you what's nutty about this whole thing. He sends me a text and says, I'm not going to be able to make it. He don't know that I saw that. He said, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it because they wouldn't let me out of here. And I told him I had to do the show. Excuse me, sir.
But you know what? That type of commitment and work ethic is lacking so much today. Even though he knew he couldn't be here, he really wanted to be here, and you can very much understand why he's not here. Some other folks just would have not shown up.
Now, that is true.
So
that is true.
You got to appreciate the effort and the work ethic that goes with that. So
that is true.
But I do want to ask you this, because you've written a few books. I've written a book. Tell me about why you wanted to put some of this stuff on paper and publish it and share your stories.
I wanted to put it out there because it needed to be heard. With my How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman, when you listen to the title, you look like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? You know, like, did she steal her man and did he da-da-da-da? Well, yes. That's what happens. But I'll tell you how is there's different short stories, all of them true. Mm-hmm. But we changed the name to protect the innocent, okay?
Right.
And the
Guilty.
guilty. And the guilty. But in those particular situations and scenarios that occurred, it was ways that you lost your husband or ways that her husband was gone. Mm-hmm. And what happened. It's been out since 2014, so I could go into detail with that. The basis of that particular book, a lot of people don't know, it stems from the story of the woman in the well. Mm-hmm. In the Bible. So if anybody knows me, like all of my stories, they come, even my topics, they come from the Bible.
Right.
But I flip it to where we are today. Mm-hmm. So it ain't Sunday school, it's Saturday school. But what it is it shows how it affects us today. So in that, I'll rush a little bit, speed up a little bit. When reading the book of The Woman in the Well, this is just my views, and that's why I put it on paper. My views of The Woman in the Well. Now, you had a lot of women, and y'all know I'm all about girl power. You had the women that ridiculed her. They called her names, all kind of whores, this and that. You know, they had that. This is my view of what occurred because I'm a visual person. Mm-hmm. So when I read, I visualize it. And the other women in the neighborhood, we're going to bring it to now, wouldn't talk to her. And all they did is whisper behind her back.
Right.
Then they said, well, she would go fill her pail in the morning when the men would go, but not when the other women would go. So here I am. I'll put myself in other folks' shoes. Now, if it was me, if I know y'all heifers going to be talking about me, why do I want to go with y'all?
Exactly.
Why do I want to hang out with y'all? It's just like the messy people like now, the messy women like now. Boom. I don't fool with y'all. So guess what? Not happening. So I fool with the other people that I'm like, people that I can relate to that, hey, we are looking at something else. You know what I mean? We are going toward this particular goal. I don't care about, I'm not dealing with, what is it? The eighth commandment, where it pretty much says stop gossiping and lying and making up lies on people. Okay, that's my interpretation. That's my interpretation.
The book of Mel.
Yeah. Tell the truth. You know what I mean? Tell the truth, shame the devil, quit making stuff up. The eighth commandment, read it for yourself, and then you'll see why I interpret it that way. But when you have those people, when you have an option, why deal with them? So this is my thought with the woman in the well. So yes, I'm going to go with the men because guess what? She going to go up there and she probably ain't even got to fill her own pail because somebody going to say, here, let me fill it for you.
Exactly.
What's wrong with that? I'm like, what's wrong with that? Y'all could talk anyway. Y'all making up stuff about me any old way. So guess what? Who don't care? And guess who don't have to carry their pail? She don't. So that's why I did that particular book was stop talking about each other. Pray for the individual. If you actually know something that is factual, understand why that's occurring. And don't just, point judgment. A lot of people don't go into the church because they feel judged.
Exactly.
And it clearly says, we don't judge. Thou shalt not judge. I know that's somewhere in there. Thou shalt not judge.
Judge not so that you
won't be judged. There you go. See? Kim the go-to girl got me. See? That's why she the go-to girl. You got me back. But it's like, that's the place where they always judge. And it's like, stop it. You sitting there all frown face. Get your life. Do something else. And your story may be to help somebody else. And you sitting there since you've gone through it and you have evolved, so to speak. And it's like, okay, I grew through it. Yeah, if you grew through it, it wasn't just for you. You went through what you went through to help somebody else. So you might see that individual that may be mimicking you at that age. And what you need to do is be like, hey, sis, listen. Blah, 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 and just give them some advice and some direction because that's probably what they need. And you don't have to always say, well, I went through the same thing. However, that's a teachable moment.
It is.
And that's when you can say, I did A, B, C, and D, and you don't. This is where we go wrong. I know where you're going. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
That bothers me. I see what direction you're going. No, you don't. That's your imagination, ma'am.
And furthermore, you don't know where that person is coming from.
See, that's where I was going. You don't know where I'm going because you don't know where I came from.
That's right.
So in the first part of the book, where there is, I got the character who played it in the play. I'm saying that versus the character, like, wait a minute, Tracy. In Tracy's scenario, Tracy refused. She was raised in government housing. And she just wanted a better life. That's all she ever wanted. So the guy ended up liking her. I don't want to tell you the good part of her homegirl and all that other stuff. Blah, blah, blah. We'll Bought a book. Bought a book for that part. But anyway, she ends up getting with him and she wanted a better life. So she was thinking this better life, she had to conform to his. So what she did ultimately was turned into what he wanted her to be, when that's not what he wanted anyway. He was attracted to who she was.
That's right.
And so that's how the wife became the other woman in that one. He turned her into, she complied. I'll put it that way. She complied. The other one, JoJo. JoJo is a girl who didn't mind dating married men. And she didn't mind dating married men at all. So that was like her thing. She's like, I don't care, you doing for me. I appreciate it, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, deuces. I'm getting what I can get out of it. Come to find out in this situation, JoJo finds out what happens to the guy. Can't tell you got to read the book. And then JoJo gets upset. Now, mind you, she ain't care about the wife, dog. And the wife knew who the wife was, the whole nine, but the wife kept his secret. Mm-hmm. And when JoJo found out his secret, she called the wife to let her know. And the wife said, oh, I already knew. That's why I didn't have a problem with you blanking him.
Right.
So that was that one. Then there's Jennifer. And Jennifer that's how the wife became the other woman there. She actually said, okay, I'll keep your secret. Hook me up.
Right,
you know?
Right.
Jennifer was pretty much well-rounded, the businesswoman about her work ethics. He was just focused on work so much. And her husband was a deacon at the church. He loved the church so much. She loved her job so much. But what ultimately ended up happening in that scenario was her work overrode her marriage. So she was neglecting him. Mm-hmm. And how the wife became the other woman in that particular situation was, shout out to Jamie Dotson, because she ended up singing the song, and James Lloyd for the soundtrack, because it bangs, okay?
That was a great play.
And I said, you have to, with Jennifer pretty much, just like her, she loved her husband because she had to, because that's what the Bible says, you need to love your husband. This is the person, but I was really in love with somebody else, but I went on and did this anyway, but I need to do my job, and this is what's important. And then she ended up being hurt at the end, because when she finally woke up and found out that she loved her husband, he was gone. He was gone. And Grace, shout out to Ebony Gordon. She played Grace. Grace was a girl who actually, and that is exactly what we talked about at the beginning. Grace had gone through some things, and she finally found, and they were calling Grace all kind of sluts, whores, all that other stuff. And she finally found somebody, and she was with this guy. Had no idea he was married at all. And she was dating. This is what happened prior to her becoming the
new wife.
The Scarlet. Prior to her becoming the Scarlet, this is what happened. She ended up dating a guy. And she had no idea. It was like 3 years in. She had no idea that he was married. But every time they were planning trips, he never was available to go on them, but he'd pay for them, and he would pay for her best friend, Mel, which was me, to go with her. And she would go everywhere. And then finally Mel's like, wait a minute, how come he's never available? Like the family reunions, and you got to find somebody, wake up. And something else was going on. So that nosy friend that she had was the one that said, we need to see what's going on. And then they end up going out to a comedy club. And when they went to the comedy club, that's where, all true stories, that's where she saw him. And when she saw him with somebody else, she went on ahead and had him pay the bill when she realized what was really going on.
Right.
And that was pretty much, she said, so, I can't even remember the line right now. She said, you may call me a whore, but I guarantee you that your man will be calling me Amazing Grace. So that's what happened with her story. And that's what made her turn into that person. That's what I said. You can't say, I see where you go. And those things just really bother me when I hear adults say that, or even not even for females, just, older guys. Dude, I know what direction you get. You don't know because you don't know where they came from. But her reasoning behind it, instead of them calling Grace all those names, they didn't know that this happened prior to. So she was really hurt, and so she ended up using men to her advantage, and it was like, I'm done. And she didn't switch teams. She stayed on the same team, but she pretty much ended up just using men for her gain.
And usually with the extramarital relationship, of course, that gets a lot of heat just because of the nature of the relationship. But what a lot of people don't understand is that there is a reason why a lot of people get in what I will consider the dysfunctional relationship. Even if it's a comfortable relationship, you're getting everything that you want, the fact that you will allow yourself to be in that position comes from somewhere, whether it's a self-esteem issue, the inability to trust issue, the fact that you already believe that the relationship is going to fail, so you enter a relationship so that you're not disappointed at the end.
Right. Now that sounds like JoJo.
Yep. So
I mean, JoJo.
Oftentimes when you see these things happening, it's not that this woman just woke up and said, I'm going to go out and steal somebody's husband. It's that there's something going on. And this happens with men too. I've seen men get caught up in situations where, they just can't find themselves in a relationship that is going to be satisfying for them at least 100% of the time. And I say at least 100% of the time because realistically speaking, no relationship is going to be perfect. And in that reality, you can find yourself at 100%. But when you deliberately put yourself in a situation where because even this friend that did not know he was married, she knew something. He can't go, you're not going on all these trips and he's paying for you to go, and you never question within why he's not there.
Now she did ask him, and it's always because he worked and he owned several businesses. So it was always the job that ended up coming up. But y'all got to get the book. And it's only $9.99.
There you go.
It's only $9.99. And hit me up. I seen Robert, and I was out, and he said, well, where's your book at? I said, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, depending on which Barnes & Noble. You go to Amazon.com, Balboa Press. I said, in the trunk of my car. Let me tell you, he was drinking. He almost spit out his drink. I was like, what? I said, I keep them on deck, honey. I keep them on deck.
You have to.
Yeah, always be prepared. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But it's still there. And the next one that's coming up is The Masterpiece. And I was waiting because, like I said, all my books they derive from true stories. Mm-hmm. And I had needed the one. I'm still waiting on the one person so that I can interview them. And it's just our schedules. And I don't want to put out anything.
Right.
And our schedules conflict. But I need from a PK, Preacher's Kid.
Oh,
that's that section.
I know a lot of those.
And it's like, do you think that it's that particular story, but I need it from her view. So I need to write it through her vision, being in the household and seeing. I don't know if y'all know, I'm going to tell you a little bit about The Masterpiece. Scene where you look at the first lady and the pastor, and you think everything is golden, but it really isn't. But they put up a facade, so they wear the mask. That's why it's called The Masterpiece.
Okay.
They wear the mask. So the different stories, all of those are there. It's just that particular one. And like I said, I don't want to give you something made up, because if you follow my writings, trust and believe, they're all experiences.
Every morning at 6:00, I watch this televangelist, and it was the one who comes on at 8. Anyway, he had the guest of a famous preacher on there. As a matter of fact, the daughter of the guy you said you wanted to see.
Okay.
His daughter was on this particular show, and she was asked, how did you get pregnant at 13, and how did you end up working in, different places that a preacher's daughter would not be, most likely to work in? And she said, what people don't understand is just because my parents preach it doesn't mean that we're not human and we still don't live the other side.
Okay.
She said people just assume that because you carry this label that the whole family is supposed to be the ministry.
Absolutely.
And she said, I just wasn't the ministry. Just because I knew what my parents did for a living and I knew what their calling was.
Well, she was the ministry because she got it another way.
Did not mean that I don't do the things that they preach against. I'm just like everybody else. And that was deep insight into that, because she just had to keep it real. Just because that's what they preach doesn't mean that's who I am.
Right. And right, that's their job. That's their profession. And when you get into a situation as far as a spouse, if the husband is the pastor, and even if listen here, we're going to talk about how if the wife is the pastor, how that flip, and does the man know what role to play? You know what I mean? How do you be a man? And then you're like, okay, you're a woman of God. They talk about WOGS, the woman of God. I don't know if y'all know, but don't use that acronym on me, because that's a white person, I think, in Britain. I believe so. I think I've seen it somewhere where a WOG is a white person and I'm black. So, but the women of God who preach, the evangelists, and their husband has to fall back. And then they're like, how can he be an alpha male? But we're going to talk about that anyway. When we talked about the how the wife becomes the other woman, I dated a married man. Mm-hmm. And y'all know I put this out here. I dated a married man, didn't know he was married at the time. And this is how I didn't know. Because if you know me, I'm about my money. I'm like Jennifer. So there's bits of me within, woven within that book as well. But I had no idea, and he liked me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and then I found out that he was a deacon in the church. And he always, we worked together. And he would always compliment me on my hair. So I already knew, because I was running. Mm-hmm. I was like, and I said, and I envisioned, like I said, I'm a visual person. So I was sitting there and I'm like, oh, he a deacon in the church. Oh God, I got to act right. Because of what what Bishop, since it was on TV.
You're already taking on your deaconess.
Right. I'm sitting there like, I see it. I got the vision, honey. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I see it. So I go tell my hairdresser, shout out to Shelly at this time. I tell her, I said, cut my hair, because she was like, I'm not cutting your hair. I was like, don't cut my hair. So she's telling me why. So we up there. And I said, no, I like my stilettos. And in my mind, at Calvary, mm-hmm. I'll put it out there. They was wearing skirts with tennis shoes and socks. Like, that wasn't to move. So this to tell you how long it was, long ago it was. But that wasn't the move for me. I was like, oh no, she's not going to be wearing. I was talking like this way before Tamar. Just put that out there. Look, my cousin was like, somebody, listen, you got to watch the show. She like it. But I was like, she's not going to be wearing tennis shoes with skirts and socks.
Right.
She likes to ride her crotch rocket.
That's right.
Sports bike. Okay. That is really not the deaconess role. Well, I wouldn't be a deaconess. I'll be the wife of a deacon.
Eventually deaconess.
Right. Right.
Because they become blended at some point.
Right. So I'm sitting there, and he kept complimenting me on my hair. I tried everything to do. Now, here's the thing. I go to the salon. I said, cut my hair. She was like, what? She didn't want to. I just took a big gulp. Look, a big gulp.
She had to.
I said, cut it off. So she cut it all the way off. So one of the counselors said, hey, Mel, he kept asking me to come to his church. So I decided to go visit his church this particular Sunday. Hair gone. Boom. The new me, like, this is it, okay? Go to the church, and who is sitting up front or standing there with the offering basket? That deacon. I didn't know that deacon went to that church, okay?
Right.
So it's like, oh my gosh. And then he said, your hair is sharp. I said, he had no idea I'm cutting my hair because I don't want him to like me.
But do you hear what you're saying here? This is a story that is so deep. People are hearing this, but look at what you were doing within you to shut that down.
Everything.
That is, oh my gosh, there's such a lesson here. Okay,
everything.
Off today. Go ahead, keep going.
Everything. No, keep it on. I did everything. I ran the whole time, and it was like, oh my gosh. But I found myself being attracted to this individual after, and it was like, no, because of the whole deacon role.
Yeah, but after he accepted your hair long, short, or whatever, that opens up a new door for him, see?
Yeah,
because now he's taking you no matter what. And
I'm like, So then we end up talking a little bit as friends. It was like, okay, but he didn't know what was going on inside. Mm-hmm. And as
Samson move didn't work. He still had strength, girl.
Right. And come to find out, then he tells me that he separated. I said, wait a minute, what? So no, I'm running from you for a whole year. Like, it was like a year or so. And now I was like, oh, so I'm sort of like, that's not okay. Lived in separate homes, the whole 9. And I'm like, okay. And it was clear because it was always available, mm-hmm. but he was still married. Mm-hmm. That's it. He was still married. So we're talking or whatever, dating. We're talking because he was still married, legally married. Separated 2 years, lived apart for 2.5 years, mm-hmm. okay? Had children. And so, let me tell you, it got so bad. One day he was over my house. She was still the wife. Remember I told you before I even came on the scene, they was living apart the whole night for almost 3 years. She done called the pastor. And the pastor called him on the phone talking about, where are you at? She done called the pastor on him, okay? I see it. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm confused for this whole situation. Now, has he dated other people before me? Yes. Totally have. And I'm like, okay, they got to get their little finals together. But at that point, when the pastor was called, and I don't know what happened, whatever was going on with their situation, I had to ask him, I had to remove mail. Mm-hmm. And I said, because it was getting ready to be final, I said, are you sure? I said, because it's final. I've been there. I said, are you sure that you did everything that you can do in this relationship? Now, mind you, they ended up splitting up because she ended up cheating with somebody and he heard it on the phone and the daughter ended up telling him and all that other stuff. I know he listening, probably like, come pay me. Because we are still good friends. But I asked myself, are you sure? I said, and I gave him a suggestion. And I said, I think that you need to go back to be sure. Because, and the reason when I said, are you sure? He paused. He paused. Had he not paused, I'd be like, oh, okay. He paused. And I said, well, my suggestion to you is to go back and be 100% sure. So he went back to be 100% sure. Long story short, they were together probably about another 6 months. And
then he was 100% sure.
Then he was 100% sure. Then he called me.
And he was 100% on. No, I'm just playing.
Right. Guess what I said? I said, what? He called me. He was like, well, I did. I tried it. And he was like, well, do you think we can actually date now? I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And he didn't understand why. I said, sorry. He was like, you told me to go back. I said, and you went. Mm-hmm. So that was it. But we cool. Look, we cool now. You know what I'm saying? And he got totally out of it. And now he's dating my cousin. Mm-hmm. He didn't know it was my cousin. So I can't say that. They met somewhere else. She didn't even live in the town. But if I had to choose, I say she's the one. She would have been the one. She's the one. Yep. And he was like, what? He was shocked because when he went to her house, he saw a picture of her and I, but they were already dating for like 4 or 5 months. So I was like, he said, how do you know her? And that was
That's
it.
my cousin.
Yeah, he was out there. It was so funny. He was like, oh my gosh. So of course, the ex-wife now is like, how tacky is that? You know, when she found out it was a cousin, I said, it's not tacky at all because that's over and done with. She didn't know because she didn't live here. And I don't tell my business like that.
Right.
His family, they knew who I was because I would be, I would come over to the house the whole night. And here's the thing. She lived across the street. So they had he owned 2 houses and he moved to the one across the street from where when they were separated, ex-wife was, or whatever you want to call it. But yes. And when he met that one, I said, if I had to choose, that would be the one.
Is he still a deacon?
No, but he's still in the church because he ended up stepping down to get himself together. So that's what ultimately ends up happening. So I was like, hey, look, that's a good story. Look.
But the reason why I'm asking that is because sometimes we need to take a look. What I was really thinking was, people are always saying, that's my book right there. Or you should write a book about your life. And people really don't know where to start. I've written a book, you've written a book. So tell me a little bit about what you had to do to start your publishing process. Because
the publishing process?
There are some people who really do want to write books and they just don't know where to start. Actually, I coach people on that sometimes.
The first thing that you would want to do with the publishing part of it, first and foremost, write it down. Write it down. You don't have to type it. Write it down. Don't worry about the grammatical errors. Don't worry about any of that. And you'll probably end up with some, especially if you do self-publishing, because everything can be right. And then all of a sudden, you're like, I know what I wrote. And then you don't read through it. And they send it back. And it's not the same. That's what happened in that first book. Y'all see some grammatical errors, which wasn't in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, wait, that is not what this was. But you pay for each correction. Mm-hmm. So that's where they try to get you. So you have to watch that part of it. But guess what? I felt as though it needed to be out. So it is what it is. Y'all know what I mean. But first and foremost, I want to say, do a poor man's copyright. That's first. Don't tell everybody about your story. And a poor man's copyright, if you don't know what a poor man's copyright is when you write it down, handwrite your plan or your book or whatever it is that you plan on doing. Handwrite it, mail it to yourself. Once you mail it to yourself, then don't open it when it comes back because that's yours. So know which envelope you put it in.
Yeah.
And then you have to put it in a safe place. That's your poor man's copyright. Why do I say that? Because you got so many swipers out there that will take your idea, your concept, your book. Like I'm talking about right now, if it wasn't published, I wouldn't even tell you. That's why I ain't telling y'all too much about the masterpiece. Okay?
There you go.
And if somebody sees it or they hear your idea and they decide to write it first, then it's theirs. So you can't go back and sue them. Okay? Plays. Write them down, write the play. It doesn't have to be in the play format. Just write it down. You get the gist of what it is, but you have to be detailed as well. Okay? Poor man's copyright. Mail it to yourself so that you have it. So if you have to go to court because somebody stole your stuff like the Cabbage Patch Dolls,
Yeah.
you can actually say, hey, this was it at this time. The benefit to the internet and social media right now is it's timestamped. YouTube is timestamped. You know, it's timestamped. If you look at, I always say it's okay to be you. That's been my slogan since 2010. There is somebody out there and they use it as well. But guess what? It's not 2010. It's like 2013 or so. But the only thing is you can't on certain words and titles like chicken soup for your soul,
Right.
chicken. You can't copyright names and words because that's been out there for all of us.
That's like when whatchamacallit was trying to copyright Hot.
Hey, Rugo's here.
What's her name? The Hilton.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like, I want to, you know, I'm like, how you going to copyright the word hot? Like, no one has ever said it in that terminology ever before. I was like, you guys to be crazy.
Right. You can't take
like,
something that's already existed.
Yeah, that's I forgot what they call that. When not that particular piece, but I was talking about Christmas songs last night. And it's like when they, like public domain, I think is what it is. Like there's certain things that
That's
are
exactly
like
what it is.
public domain. Like you can have, like, okay, we can sing this song and don't have to pay the rights for it because it's public domain. You know,
That's the same thing. Just like I could say, let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
We could say that, but you can't say just like that guy. Like I ain't even gonna say it because I don't want to get charged.
yeah. Let's get ready to tumble.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good idea. Yeah,
the
that
box
or
set.
the and there's
he-
more. It's the way you say it. The and there's more guy. Like when you're selling something. The
ShamWow guy.
yeah, the one
I mean-
the one that does the. I keep saying telemarketing. What is that on the shows that they come on in the middle of the night infomercials?
Yeah.
And they be like, but wait,
Oh, yeah.
you can't say it just like that. But you could say, but wait, there's more. But you
Yeah.
can't say it just
The
like
way they
he
say
said
You
it. Yeah.
can't say it
So-
with energy, like
right.
You know.
Yeah, your highs and
Wait,
lows.
there's 4.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be careful. When you try to do that, you got to work real hard.
You
You
do.
gotta like, I gotta say 4.
In case you guys didn't know, let me put this out here. Rugo has his own show, which is Rugo the Movie Guy. So I got like boom, 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 thebomb.com. And Kim the Go-To Girl, she has her own show, which will be starting next year. So and she's done television, she's done it all. So we are like, and that's why we like interview each other. And so that's why I end up being like the interviewee and she was the interviewer about the book part of it. But I want to talk about, let's get into the meat of the thing. Let it go. Let it go is what we're talking about. Like pet peeves, letting it go.
Let pet peeves go?
No, letting
Oh.
things go. Like pet peeves. So we'll talk about the pet peeves
Oh,
that get on
no,
your
I
nerves.
don't know that.
You can't let pet peeves go?
No.
Why?
You know what one of my pet peeves are?
What?
People littering.
Littering, yeah.
Like it is like I get all kinds of angry.
That's interesting.
Like I had a situation where there was a passenger in my car who littered in a public park, and I stopped the car and I said, "You got 2 choices. You can get out, or you can get out and get the bag."
If it wasn't a
those-
fine, would you have still done the same?
I was all alone. Nobody was around to see it. Like it was like if Like if I threw that bag out, somebody would drove past, like, look at that person who littered, and they would have never known it came out of my car.
But just
Like
the fine.
it had nothing to do with the fine. Like I get upset when I see people who look like they don't live in a certain area littering in a certain area.
Interesting. Now
I get
that
really
would
pissed
upset
off
me.
about that.
That would
Like don't like litter at your own house,
your own neighborhood.
in your own neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, don't be driving from A to B and A, B to C, and then you littering it all the way between A and B, and you don't litter between B and C. Nah,
Now that's foul.
you know.
If you're gonna be a litterer, just be a litterer.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
be an all-purpose litter. Because now now I look at your litter as being like,
Racially motivated.
racially motivated litter. Oh, who cares?
So
See,
you
I'm
need
here.
to be an equal opportunity litterer.
And there you go. Like that's
Like
what
if
he
I
was.
was a superhero, I would want to have the
Litter man.
the power to fight crime of litter because it happens all around you all the time.
Litter
You
man.
would always be in business.
It's a bird. It's a plague. No, it's litter man.
Like, why did you wreck that car? Because they threw out a gum wrapper.
But
Bastards.
since when you brought up the littering and you shared your story about a year or so ago, which was somebody littered in their own
Oh,
car.
the date.
The date.
Yeah.
Now, if you know him, you know he don't like littering.
Yeah.
And then I take you on a date and you litter in your own
In
yard.
your own yard.
So how did you handle that?
Okay, we'll do a real quick recap. So I go to Akron on this date, which is about 45 minutes west from here, if you're an international listener or whatever. So anyway, I go on this date, and when I get there, the young lady says, "Hey, I'll drive." And I said, "Cool," because I just drove here. And at that time, it seemed like a 45-minute drive was a long way. You know what I mean? So this is like, I'm going back. This is back. So when we get in her car, I guess she's like kind of like, oh, I got some things that's out of place or whatever. One of those things was a beverage container, a cup of like, it wasn't like a beer or anything like that. It was just like a restaurant cup. And she said it was a dumpster, probably about 5 meters, 10 feet, whatever, away from her from the car. So she sets it outside of the car. And I don't know if that was in the haste to go, in the, like, I'm kind of embarrassed my car is dirty, whatever. So the next day comes, and I call her, and I say, hey, did you ever pick up that cup? And,
I enjoyed our date.
and
Right.
Pick up
did
that
you
cup.
pick up that cup? Because it's been on my mind. It's been on my mind.
And clearly.
It's been on my mind. Yeah.
And did she ever pick it up?
She said she did, but she didn't pick up that cup. I could tell in the hesitation. I don't know if there's a hesitation of me asking that question about the cup, or if it's like, hey, I ain't pick up that fucking cup.
Bang, bang, everything else, yeah. Now here's what's interesting. The interesting part is it could have went the other way because she probably sitting there because I know how to look like, what? Is he talking about the cup? He didn't care about what I had on, the date, and he asked about a cup.
The cup.
So did you date her again?
No. I don't think so.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Like, bye, see ya. So I became more aware of the litterers. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not a litterer.
The litterers are littering.
Yeah, but now since he came up, when he shared that story, I started watching people. Like, I wonder if they're a litterer. Look, are they a litterer? So I started paying attention to the surroundings, and I do
Yeah.
get agitated because you're right. When I go and I see Dairy Queen bags in front of my house.
Yeah.
Like, for real, you couldn't, like, take it home?
Yeah.
You just gonna
Like,
dump it?
You in your car. You in your car going at a mile per hour in a different direction, and you couldn't just say, I'll just deal with that later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You like-
But that's probably, like, my car looks crazy because I don't litter.
Well, my
You know
car
what I
don't
mean?
look crazy, and I
Well,
don't litter.
Yeah.
I
but-
sit it on the floor in the back, and then when I get out, I go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, because at
So I
one
can't
time
see it.
I would have a plastic bag in the car. I would just throw stuff in because I'm
Yes.
like a road warrior as far as what I do. But yeah, because it's the one thing you can't control is how you impact someone's environment. Now I ain't telling you to go and recycle your trash. I mean, it'd be nice
yeah.
if you did, but it's the one thing you can't control. You know, you don't have to mess up the environment by just throwing something out the window. You don't. I mean, you can control that. You know, and I just think it's really lazy. How did they say lazily and slobbing? Remember that? Lazily. I don't even know if that's a word. It's on the brink of a bell.
It's not, but they found one, didn't they?
Yeah, but then you've heard that
I have.
said before. Lazily.
That's why I ain't ding the bell.
Slobbing.
Look, I'm like, I haven't dung the bell yet.
It probably is. It's probably like an old Charles Dickens book or something. You know?
But like, this was a word before.
Yeah.
Now, what's your pet peeve?
Hair, loose hair in the sink and on soap. That drives me nuts. Clean off the sink.
Wait a minute.
When you, that drives me
I mean,
crazy.
the bagel. You said on the soap.
You know how on bars of soap, and
If
you
they got
see
hair on the bars of soap, that
and-
bar is gone.
Or you,
The
you
bar's
shave,
gone.
yeah, or people shave and leave all the hair around the sink, or that drives me nuts. I can't stand loose hair.
Now, let's go back
In
to
the
this
bathroom.
hair
I
on the
can't
bar of
stand
the
it.
soap. Now, if hair is on the bar of the soap, that means that person actually bathes with the bar of soap and not the towel.
Or something. I don't know.
They like
'cause-
take the
'cause
bar,
if I
just
ever
put it under
see-
their arms, all on their area, and then you
All
come
on the
in and be like, I
area.
need some soap. Like,
And it's not as bad now.
Soap
because you
should
have
not
all
be
that-
shared.
Right. You have all that soft soap and, the liquid
Yeah.
soap. But
Uh-huh.
back in the day, when you go to somebody's house and you see hair all over the soap, what makes you think
I'm washing my
touch that?
hands. That'll be the time that I don't wash my hands. I'm like,
Yeah, but I think like at that time you kind of like people had to have like the shower soap and then the soap for hand washing.
right, on the
'Cause
bar.
I know at our house it was different. Like you would have like whatever the brand of soap it was, and then it would be like these little like seashell shaped soaps and all that. They don't
Oh, the
even make that
decorative
anymore, do
soaps.
they?
Those are the ones that you weren't supposed to use out the
Right.
basket, Rugo. You didn't use
Well,
the soap out the
You're not
basket
supposed
behind
to
the
use-
toilet.
That's the guest soap. For
Well,
your decorating soap.
well, it was used and I used it afterward. It's like, what am I gonna do? It's a seashell. I gotta use it.
Yeah, you say you gotta use it, or the roses. You'll be like,
Yeah, the
these
rose.
are cute in this
I don't know.
basket behind on the back of the toilet.
Yeah.
Or people who won't put the buggies back.
That's a
I
pet peeve.
have an issue with that. Just put the buggy back.
What do you mean when you shopping?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when you go to Walmart and there's buggies all over the parking lot, just put the buggy back.
Just
the
put
bu-
in the
And that
receptacle
little,
area.
yeah.
See, it's funny you should say that because when I'm at some stores that have buggies but don't have like your dollar stores,
Yeah.
sometimes I get a buggy worth of stuff, or the stuff I may have is heavy. Do you know they still pressure cookers there now
Where?
at the
At
dollar
the
store?
Pressure cookers at the
Pressure
dollar
cookers.
store?
They ain't $1. They $60,
But they're at the dollar
they're
store.
Dollar
Yeah.
store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the name of a store. I'm just saying in general. So they'll have these buggies, but there's no corral for the buggies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will take my buggy back into the store.
That is so nice. That's what they expect you to do.
But you know what? The people when you come in, they're like, "Hello," and I'm like, "How can I not take this buggy back?" They just said hi to
do.
me. They went out of their way.
They do.
And then I'll be like, "Hey, since you started a conversation, where's XYZ at?" they'd be
Since
like,
you started it,
yeah, since you started it, I didn't engage you, and I know you were another customer, but this hello has opened up a whole query of questions.
and it does. Now, I will say, I have several pet peeves. One of them is personal. It's in my personal space.
Yeah.
And that is when you don't put things back. Now, if I order, it might be over the top, but my cupboards are organized and I have everything together. It's almost like sleeping with the enemy, right? I have everything put together, but like to me, your ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, all the condiments, if it's in the cupboard, they need to be together so people know where it is. I can't have it on a different shelf. Like that drives me nuts. And so don't go in. No, don't come over my house rearranging my cupboards. Like, okay, is she gonna have a conniption or not?
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. Because, like, today, I'm not wearing a coat. Ask me why.
Why?
Because someone moved my coat. Just leave
From
it-
where it normally
Yeah,
is?
leave my coat where it lay. Like,
Yeah.
leave my stuff where it lay. But I feel you on that. Especially,
Yeah, me
like,
too.
It's in my personal space. Like if you're
Yeah.
out in public, it's like, okay, well, this isn't mine, so I'm not going to too much worry about it. You know what I mean? This isn't my space, like at work. I don't like people to use my things, even at work, and not put them back. Like if you decide to use it and you know how I am anyway, how you going to take my stuff and then use my marker and put it somewhere else and I got to go find it and search for it? Why? Why?
Man.
So that's why I said mine is just my like personal stuff. Nothing publicly that will really drive me nuts. So I'm trying to get over that, so to speak. But I think that it's an invasion.
I had an interesting thing that happened to me at a previous job where people were goofing off. I wasn't in the office, but people were goofing off, and I guess they start using people's tape, and they're taping all this stuff up or whatever in this area. And so I guess somebody got the bright idea to say, let's go to Rugel's area and get his tape. And at first, and at first I was kind of like mad about it, right? Inside. It was all inside. Then I said, you know what? This ain't my stuff. Go. I was like, you don't need, like, because I think what people want, like, some things happen. Either people want to see if you're going to say something, or people want to see if you're going to say something. I mean, it's the same
I got
thing,
you.
you know what I mean? And so I was just like, because somebody said, oh, we used the tape. And I was, after the fact of not asking me. And I just said, hey, I was like, you know, I was like, oh, don't worry, that's the taxpayers' tape.
Now it's funny that you should say that, and let me tell you why. Because even like mine, like at the school, because y'all know I'm at the school sometimes, I bring my own and I buy my own tape. I bought my own tape dispenser.
Yeah.
All of it came from my office here, and I took it there. I bought my own stapler. They didn't provide none of it.
Yeah.
And when it's missing, I have an issue.
Yeah, I feel you on that. The reason I brought up that thing about it being the taxpayers' tape is because I wanted them to see the bigger picture on how y'all wasting supplies on some lollygagging versus, like, you know, really trying to use it for something. Like, because be honest with you, once I get my tape thing set up, I don't even know if I've even used tape. It may be like one of those rare occasions where I actually say, oh, I need tape. You know what I mean? But I have it, you know. But when that happened, I was just like, because I would say in that job, when I got the tape, I got like 3 rolls of tape. And out of the roll that they used, I'll probably use like, over the 3 or 4 years I was there, I don't even think I finished or even used that roll that I had put on there to replace the roll that they wasted.
So you ain't really need it.
Well, I didn't know if I needed it. You know what I mean?
But in case you needed it, it
Because
wouldn't
I
have been
needed it,
there.
I had it. But the point was the thing I wasn't going to say was, oh, y'all took my tape without asking me. I was like, oh, y'all used the taxpayers' tape.
That's what you said to him?
Yeah, because it's like, now it's like, well, dang. Because now it looked like, well, what is we doing? We up here wasting money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You, the taxpayer, you wasting your own money doing this ridiculous stuff. It was like a prank. They used to do pranks and stuff in the office.
He's like, oh, you're using the
They
taxpayers.
got me good in the beginning.
Did they? You learned.
Yeah.
All right, pet peeves in the church. Let's go.
Pet peeves in the church. It's not really a pet peeve, but it's funny every time I hear it. And I do it whenever I hear somebody pray or whatever. If I'm in a community prayer, like when you get that one person who be like, the preacher be saying something, or either they repeat what the preacher's saying, or they be like, well. So,
that cosign.
Yeah, the cosign. So it's hilarious to me, right?
Don't tell me you laugh.
I do it to make people laugh. Like, like if you had, like, okay, I used to go to my one cousin's house in Michigan, and with his in-laws, they used to have these dinners. They Christian folk and everything like that. So there's somebody be praying, and when they would pray, I'd be like, well, right? And my cousin, he knew what I was doing, and I was saying, thinking like, I'm about to laugh, but I gotta do it. You know what I mean?
You said you gotta do it.
Yeah, I gotta do it. You know, but in certain places, it's common for, especially if you work with, like, if it's a different age, older age folk, you will hear some wells and amens and all that during the prayer. Yeah. So I'm just bringing it back for a new generation.
You're bringing it back. When the pastor be like, I ain't gonna keep you long, what you say?
Well, like, come on now, Pastor. You know you
Take
know
your
you
time.
gonna take your time. You gonna get that word out.
I'll probably be the only one mad when somebody holler, I'll take your time.
Take your time.
I'm like, look, we had an agreement. This church be from 11 to 1. It is agreement. Like at my other church, it was clockwork. It was like the church I go to now. It'd be like 10 to like 11:15. But like a hot hour and 15 minutes, and they be sticking to it. That'd be all the singing, all the preaching, all the money collecting. Actually, they did this with the money collecting. They don't even go around anymore. They just got the boxes on the entrance, and they say, "Oh, drop your money off at these boxes or whatever."
Now now that's nice.
Yeah,
that must be a white
pressure
church
situation. Well, it's a church of equal opportunity church.
Okay, so it's a white church.
Equal opportunity.
It's a white church. They right on time, and they got the boxes, the offering baskets out there. If you want to put something in, there you go. You don't feel obligated because I'm gonna tell you, the black churches, they're gonna be either up front or they gonna pass it to you. Now, when they pass it to you, your neighbor know how much you put in there.
Yeah.
If you got to walk up, they be like, "Oh, she didn't even walk up. She just touched the basket." You know what I'm saying?
Get up and there'll be those pressure giving situations.
Yeah, pressure giving.
And it'd be so funny because at the church I grew up in, when they would do that kind of thing, they would always say, "Bless those who gave and those who had a heart to give." The catch-all.
That is the catch-all.
And it'd be like, So one thing I do to actively make up for when I forget, because I would forget if you tell me to put in I would forget. I would see somebody at the grocery store and be like, "Hey, can I, or especially the Christmas season. It was Christmas morning. I had to go buy milk, and there was people in line. I was like, "Can you get a coffee? And you get a coffee? And you get a coffee?" And it's always that one person that's be like, "Well, you don't have to buy mine. You're okay. I won't buy it." You know what I mean? Like, I don't be begging nobody because it get kind of creepy. Like it's no, like the lady know me. She called me by your first name, so she know it's good. You know what I mean? But that's what I do.
That's what it is. Pet peeve in the church.
Roping off the pews and telling me where to sit.
You got a problem with that?
I do. I do. Jesus did not care where you sat or where you stood.
You said roping off?
I don't like that.
Roping off the...
Now, I can understand if there's an event and seating is going to be an issue. But just routine church service, let me sit where I want to sit.
Now, I've noticed that now they have people, they let you sit where you want to sit. But I will say that they have, you want some candy or something? Y'all know I'm eating. I stay eating. When you rope off, that means don't sit there because the ushers got their spot. I feel you.
Quiet got their spot.
Yeah.
Well, the two churches where I see it happen, one I still belong to and one I go to because it's closer to my house. They want the church to fill up front to back. It's not because the ushers need somewhere to sit or the nurses guild needs somewhere to sit. That's just the way they want the church to fill up. So what I have to do is go and put my Bible and my purse where I'm going to sit when the rope comes off.
When the rope comes off?
I'm still going to sit where I want to sit. And then they have these sermons about just sit where you're supposed to sit. Don't worry about that's my seat. Don't talk about if it doesn't matter where I sit, then let me sit where I want to sit.
You got your seat, even though it's unmarked. You got,
and it's like
even in your own home. You just have places where you prefer to sit in your house. It's not a big deal.
One thing I would say about this though, I don't want to say in the church I go to now.
This is a lovely place. This is a lovely place.
Opportunity church.
At the equal opportunity church, if you happen to sit in someone's seat, it's viewed upon as a blessing. Because now you got this new person that you can pour into. So it's not like, I can't believe this person sat in my seat. Like, I can't believe this person sat in my seat. Now I get to be all Jesus-y with them.
Oh, look at that.
So it's be like, oh yeah, you get to make that connection. Say, oh, did you meet these people? Do you know this person? Blah, blah, blah.
So they take it as an embracing moment versus an attitude.
I take it as a growing moment because it happened to me last week.
What?
I usually make sure I get to church in time to put my stuff in my seat. But last week that didn't happen. So I had already made up my mind. I know somebody's going to be sitting where I want to sit. So what I did was I sat in front of the person who was sitting where I usually sit. And I took that opportunity to work with my attitude about it. Instead of getting angry, because what happens, my grandmother was claustrophobic. So when I would go and sit with her, she always sat in the back of the church so that she could see the door and she would be comfortable there. So now all my life, I sit in the back of the church where I can see the door. I'm not claustrophobic, but that's just the way I've always done it. So I had to really talk to myself and say, okay, it's more important that I'm here than where I sit. But at the same time, in some things, I'm just a creature of habit.
So you had to counsel yourself.
So I did. I was go-to girling through the service. But I did it. And I was proud of myself because I was able to not have the attitude. But guess what? I'm going to be there early enough tomorrow. Put my Bible in my purse where I want to sit.
So you can sit. Hey,
that's just the issue.
You know how to fix it.
God does not care where you sit. Just sit down. And if you know the church is going to fill up anyway, what difference does it make how it's going to fill up?
Are they filming or something?
And see, that's where I was going with it.
They record it, but it's not always
it's not
video.
A video recorded.
It's audio.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Then maybe.
see, I'm thinking like, no, we thinking like a real stage or something.
And I do know that at my other church, they were not they were videotaping the pulpit, and they may have been videotaping the front of the church, the immediate,
because you wanted to look back.
But it's already filling up. That was my issue. I could see if 5 people came to church and all 5 sat in the back.
Like y'all don't have a capacity,
right?
issue.
You know that by the time service is going, this church is going to fill up.
And you know,
why does it matter where I sit?
Maybe this is the thing though, because I'm thinking about it like this: is that if it's a church where you get when you get frequent new people, maybe it's to ensure that those people feel comfortable in finding an available seat. Because those people aren't going to be the people, they may be on time or right on time. You know what I mean?
To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late.
Yeah.
But the very first time I went there, I had to sit like 2 rows from the stage. I was so uncomfortable with all those people behind me. That was my first time there. I wanted to sit in the back.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm trying to think of like the overall reason why. Because at first I was like, oh, they must be filming.
That's where I was for the speaker. I was thinking for the speaker.
And that would be totally different.
But you're not going to tell somebody. So let's look at it this way. Let's look at it. Look, all of us here are problem solvers. But when you go and you speak, just think about us when we're on stage. And you go and you speak. When you speaking to a speck here and a specter, not calling the people a specks, but I'm saying like a sprinkle.
Please don't.
Okay.
Because I think that's a racial term.
Right, yeah, that might be racial. A speck.
Yeah,
that could be deemed racially. That's racial.
Equal opportunity talk show.
Okay, yes, equal opportunity. That's it in a nutshell. But when you look at the people, it's easier, and you feed off of the energy of the people. So if you got to pull somebody's energy, Kim, the go-to girl way in the back, I'm like, girl, I need to look at you, and you don't know that. Or Rugal sitting there, and I'm like, I need to hear a wail. I know I'm gonna get a wail out of him. You know what I'm saying? So if you have all those people in front of you, in your mind, you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm here and I'm speaking, not just preaching, but I'm speaking to a multitude versus 1 or 2. Even though we know being in this craft, if you have 8 or 8,000, you better, if you have 2 people, you better
8,000 and then 8.
Exactly, but that's how it looks when you're sparse. But you have to give the same show. If it's 2 people out there, you got to get the same show as if it's 2 million.
Yeah.
But it's harder. So I'm thinking maybe that's why they move people up so you're not sporadic. But let me say this. And I'm not going to say but. And I was at a church and I always sat in the balcony. Always.
What else?
And here's why I sat in the balcony. I sat in the balcony because I know me. You said for the claustrophobia, which probably is what it is for me, but mine is for focus. Because when I sit in the balcony, and I always sit in the first row in the balcony, all I see is what the pastor says.
Yeah.
I don't see Sister Shirley over there. Oh man, I wonder if she fed her family. She going through so much. That's why I don't communicate at the church. You know, they be like, oh, get in this ministry, get in that ministry. I don't want to get in none of the ministries because I don't want to take on what they have. And I know the individual that I am, that I'll always try to help other people where I lose. And I'm there for a reason. And that's why I would sit in the balcony. Well, this church that I used to belong to, the security stopped me. It was like, nobody's sitting in the balcony. Well, here's the problem. Why am I here? And I'm gonna tell you, this is the truth. Mm-hmm. Why am I here? Because I'm easily distracted. I'm telling you, I think I was diagnosed before ADHD came out. But if you be around me enough, you know I be all over the place. I know I'm easily distracted. Mm-hmm. So me being easily distracted, I need to sit here in order for me to obtain the message that I need to obtain. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, everybody that moves, somebody hollering, well, I'm looking back. That is what I do. And it is so hard for me to just constantly focus on what I'm there for. Yeah. That was my reason. So then I joined another church, right? Don't let me crack you up. You can sit up in the balcony the whole night, all is well. After I joined this church, I go to sit up in the balcony because that's where I would sit. They done closed the balcony off. Now I got to sit there. Now you know what I'm doing?
You going to another church?
Yeah, I'm finding another one. Y'all balcony open?
Y'all, all right. First of all, do y'all got a balcony?
Yeah,
if
what?
y'all get a balcony, I can't
y'all
got it. Do y'all close it often?
And the reason the usher ended up telling me why, which was really cool, and I was okay with it, and then I would just sit in the back. Uh-huh. And I'm like, I probably got a twofold type thing, because I am claustrophobic. Okay. I am. But you don't know what people are going through. But the usher ended up explaining to me, he said, here's why. I was like, what? And then I told him, I said, I can't focus when I'm there because I see everyone else, and I don't want to be up front.
So what was the why?
The why was they have to clean up there. They have to clean up in the balcony. That was the why. So my face was like yours. But he gave me a why. He didn't have to. He said, because we'll have to come up and vacuum and clean up in the balcony, so we want to fill up the first floor.
But you should be backing up and cleaning up in the balcony anyway.
They just got the dust in the balcony. They ain't got people with these rappers thinking they gonna leave them and drop them off on the programs that they give you. I forgot that comedian
do all this. See, that's not God telling you not to do. If you built the balcony, let me sit in the balcony.
Yeah.
And now with the way churches are now, with the coming in, you don't know who's going where the whole nine, so they can kind of control.
Who's sitting in the front. You don't.
You see, at my equal opportunity church, like there's a balcony, and then there's like a riser, sort of like, and then there's like the bottom part. Like,
okay.
There's like the floor part. So the reason I always pick granted, I'm a little bit taller than the average, like, church person. I shouldn't say church person. But
or short.
Yeah, y'all short people. Y'all closer to hell. That's why y'all go to church more. These short people. No. But
all the church people are short.
I'm 6 feet. I can't go to church.
Right.
So, but you gotta compete with like heads and backs and whatever, maybe hats and whatever, if you're on the bottom level. But like I always liked the balcony view because it was kind of like the staggered on the side stadium thing, because you could always you didn't have a problem seeing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was like all these are good seats.
Okay.
All
of them probably are good seats.
Yeah.
Now, and then they moved me up front. All the way to the front. Now, I don't like being
in the front.
all the way up front.
Me either.
I don't know if that's I'm a shy person. Did y'all know that?
I'm an introvert. People don't believe it, but I am.
I would say I am too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing for me is why I would like to.
I don't want to be seen.
Well,
me either. And I don't like people sitting behind me. Look, I don't like it. I'm very uncomfortable with that.
Well, the thing is, sometimes I got this look of I think people think that I'm not engaged, right? And so, but it's this I don't so I may have if it's easier for me to be in the balcony or in the seat. I remember recently at work somebody said, "Well, we didn't think you were whatever." I was like, "Well, ask me a question from that meeting, and I guarantee you I can answer that question." I was like, "I'm in the moment. I just don't have to be in y'all."
In your moment.
Yeah.
But I can say this
Like I don't learn like that. Go ahead.
But you, when I first met you, because we worked together, and your initial aura is intimidating and unapproachable. And once I got to know you, I said, he's not intimidating and unapproachable. That's just the way he presents himself.
Interesting, because we did a show some time ago, remember? And he was told that.
Oh yeah.
As far as like the way that he looks.
But he's really cool. But you have to get to know him. And I get that too. People tell me that they think I'm unapproachable, stuck up, and intimidating. And then when they get to know me, they'll say, you're nothing like I thought you were. Yeah. So I can see where they would think that about you, but that's not you.
Yeah. So I was just like, I mean, first of all, I told him, I was like, I'm an audio learner. So I'm more adapt to be like, if I hear it, then I learn it more than like, because they're like, well, we don't see people taking notes and all that stuff. I was like, well, I mean, I can take notes, but you're not saying anything that's important enough
for me to take
a note right now. You know what I mean? And so that's another thing though too. Sometimes you just gotta act the part. Yes. Like, and that's a hard thing that I've learned. That you gotta be like, because like for example, in college. In church, I ain't sitting in the front row, right? I'm not going to elect to sit in the front row. But when I was in a class, I sit in the front row all the time.
Now, see, that's the difference. You know what I mean? I sit in the front in school, but at church, I could. I can't. I'm like, no, because I need to focus. But in school, it's like, it's just, you are teaching me, and that's what you see. Same
philosophy. But like, so it's like if me being an audio learner, if I'm in church, all they doing is talking. So I don't worry if I'm in a place that's up front or something. Some people could be like, man, he ain't even like, is he enjoying this or whatever? You know what I mean?
So you dimming the energy.
Yeah, they could
like,
be like,
my flame was high.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, man, I'm getting filled. I just don't have to like do I don't gotta be a part of the church wave. Yeah, you know what I mean? But in a class, there's other things going on that I gotta be able to do. Because in church, you might have a couple verses they mention and you write it down. You know what I mean? But in school, if you're doing the math or whatever it is, it's like there's structure to this verse. There's the hearing part, and then there's the visual part that I gotta write down stuff for. You know what I mean?
Plus, it's more practical because you have to spit it back out at some point.
Exactly.
Okay, y'all should have seen him. He was like doing the wave at church, like they do at the game. Like
start a wave at church.
Be like, I'll be laughing. Look, see, I'll be distracted, and I'll be distracted because I am a visual learner. I'm a visual learner, so I'm that person that'll be like, okay, entertain me. Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
However,
it's a level of entertainment.
Yeah, my resting face, my resting face. Because I have been accused of the resting face.
Yeah, me too.
And it is not that I'm not paying attention to you. It's it's not that I'm saying entertain me either. But I'm like, okay, where are we going? Because I'm always anticipating the next thing. Yeah. And it's almost, and I think that's with a lot of people. If you hear one word, like here's the thing. Let the church say,
amen.
You're anticipating the next word, so I'm here and I want to hear what you have to say.
Call and response without any proper motivation to do such.
Right. There you go. There you go. Right there.
Hey, last to the audience.
Look what he learned listening.
Yeah. Look. He ripped that off there.
And just when y'all thought he wasn't paying attention, he heard it.
And it was a call and response without any... He brought it.
Yeah, so like, hey, there we go. But that will be mine. I'll sit there and I'll look. But you do feed off the energy of the individual. And that's why I was thinking that's why they push people to the front.
Yeah, but you know what? In the church, though, your energy is supposed to be like divine intervention energy. Like, I don't think it should matter where people sit.
Okay.
Because you there, like it... Like it has a level of entertainment. I will definitely say
it does.
Especially when you at the churches and they be like, and they get like, they get revved up at the end. And you gotta,
right.
And I'd be like, I'm out.
You out at that time.
I can't do it. You know, because like at my equal opportunity church, the ending is different. It's like they'll play like a guitar, like a little light, not even electric. It's acoustic guitar, like
Acoustic guitar.
you know, there's something light. And then we're just going to make sure that this week is good,
soothing,
and
a eucalyptus candle
God,
ending.
Yeah, you know. But when you get the fired up, supercharged, you know, ending, I'll be like, man, what I'm supposed to do? I'm gonna go, you know,
You're supposed to skip out.
I feel like
No.
I need demons to fight. You know, like where's the demons? Where's the, you know, I need something like the zombies or something like you can be all fired up like a football game to go out here.
He said he needed some demons to fight. Like, I heard that.
You get me too hyped, man. And it's like, and it is, you know, you get all that energy and stuff. You're like, I need to take a nap.
You need a nap after
Yeah,
church?
but at the equal opportunity church, it's like the soothing part. Then like somebody be like, "Hey, you want to go to lunch?" You be like, "That sounds good. Let's go to lunch." You know, because you ain't got because your fight or flight ain't there. You know what I mean? Like if you in the other church, you'd be like, you'd be like, Jesus!
And then like, your fight or flight. That's why everybody go to sleep. They be like, "Ooh, I need a nap after church."
You know,
That's so funny.
yeah.
That is so funny because I'm thinking back like, yep. But then you have those, like you said at the end, you know when church is about to be over.
Mm-hmm.
You know when church is about to be
yeah.
over because the drummer's like, all right, it's time. Like they get a text like, let's go.
It's time.
It's time.
Yeah, or you get the universal altar call. Time call to the altar.
Oh, well, you know that.
Yeah.
But look how calm he is. I need a hype church. I need a hype church so my energy is like zoom, 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 zoom.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, I'm sitting down and sweating. In high energy church. I'm like, I ain't did nothing.
You're
And
like,
then
you don't want to sweat in
yell.
church?
Yeah, you yelling at you're like, well.
And then everybody get to clapping. You
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, oh man, we can't.
well, look at
Different
that.
rhythms for different people.
Yeah.
Well, look at that as a moment to exercise.
Yeah.
Stimulation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Running
Stimulation
around the
is
church
good.
and scream and
Yeah.
shout when you're running
Yeah.
around and you're kicking off your shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Make
cool.
sure you have your Fitbit on. So you
Look,
check your
count your steps.
Yeah, it's cool. And based on
Count it off.
Yeah.
We're all good.
and based on that scenario, the church should be the fittest place on the planet, right? And it's not.
And you
And
like,
it's
it is not.
It is
Like that little boy that it went viral where the little boy said he tired of his church. Did y'all see that? Yeah.
His speech, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his Christmas speech. And he went up there, he got called up, and he went to the microphone and he said, I'm tired of this church, and put his head down and handed the mic back. Somebody was like, oh, they said his name. Oh! And so I'm laughing, and then you hear one person in the back. You always get that one encouraging person. That was a beautiful speech. No, beautiful job. That's what he said. That was a beautiful job, whoever his name is. I just started laughing. I said, that was probably the person that put him up to it. But
It is probably tired of church too. Like I'm glad somebody said.
And
something.
right.
I'm about to be.
Yeah, that's what they say, yeah.
Did they say that then?
Yeah,
they
that's
only say
it.
it when it's something good. You know,
they ain't say it then.
We need an equal
Yeah.
opportunity church.
That is so funny.
Because that's true. I mean, like being like young, like because when I think about the audience of the church, is like I am coming here because I feel that I need to come. Like I'm not buying a ticket to come here, even though sometimes ties can seem like an admission price. but the thing is, I'm not paying. Like the only people that's being have that like kind of in some cases being forced to go to church is the kids. And I would say this: growing up, it was a church on my corner that I didn't have a problem with going to, even though they didn't have like an all-day child thing or none of that stuff. Now, a church that I had to go to, I did not like to go to the children's church at all. I thought it was the worst thing ever, you know. And I was like, why are you making me come here? And then why are you making me come and have to go in this basement with these people? I don't care if they give it cookies and church punch during the thing. I don't want it. I don't want that. I would rather be upstairs than be in that environment. I hated it.
The church I grew up in was awesome. But it was, for us, going to church when I was growing up was like going hanging out at the Y or going to hang out with your friends. It was a more family-oriented type of, everybody knew everyone. A lot of the families started the church together. Mm-hmm. But there was never an issue. We were all in the choir. We loved singing. And I went to one of those really high energy churches.
Okay.
And so I enjoyed it. Sunday school was a big deal because we all wanted to go to the Sunday school picnic at Cedar Point and GI.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a different kind of atmosphere. It was back at that time where people saw church as the place where you could come together and be you from that perspective. The bake sales, and we used to have these giant butter muffins after Sunday school. It was a different atmosphere than what I experienced in church today. And they still have that family-oriented type of approach, but back then there were families who made the church. It was just a different kind of setting.
Yeah, because like the one church, it was weird because the one church that I mentioned, the one that I liked to go to, they had the vacation Bible school and all that kind of stuff, was the one that was probably more family oriented, even though like technically those were like, it was relations of people, but my family church was this other church that was more a conservative, I don't know what you want to call it, but it was more of a, yeah. So it was like I had to go to that church because it was the church of your fathers and his father before him, you know,
Okay.
that church, kind of thing.
That's like my church on Albert Street.
Yeah.
I know what church that is.
All right.
Matter of fact, the church I grew up in is up the street on Albert Street.
Yeah. So it would just be like, I got to go here and be in this thing. And I didn't like the children's church at all. I hated to go to that.
So you
why?
were,
Why
so
did
you
you
were this
like
kid. I'm about to play it so you guys can hear it if you missed it. Here's the kid. Okay.
A beautiful style.
Okay. Wait a minute.
I'm tired of this church. Oh, that's a beautiful style.
Hey, and he had that look like, I know I'm about to get whatever's coming to me.
Right.
I need to know this.
And dropped.
And walked right down the aisle with his head down. He like, I am not even making eye contact with none of y'all.
I'm tired
Now,
of
when
this church.
I was a young person at church,
What?
well, I actually, we came up, everybody sat with their parents. I mean, when you went inside, everybody went to the bathroom. If you had to go to the bathroom, you came in there as a family unit. You sat down, you knew you didn't do anything but listen, and that was church. But we ended up getting a more youthful pastor over some time, and we had become teenagers. I was like maybe preteen at that time, but they started doing more interactive things with the teenagers. So when it came to those middle days of the week, there were other stuff for the youth to do. So it wasn't just teenagers. Your children could come too, and there were people that were doing things with them. There were games that we played. We'd learn, but then there were games and outings and hay rides and all that fun stuff. And even at Halloween, they would do. So it wasn't like you were missing anything because they would have like a big party. And they would make it so interesting that you would rather be there and want your friends that were going somewhere else to come with you to your church because this is what we're going to do. And they would enjoy that more so than whatever else that you thought you were going to miss.
And my equal opportunity church is like that. Like they have like bonfires and cookouts and different things. And
See, that's good. So they're active with the young adults. Now, my thing with
everybody,
with the children's churches, I don't like the children's church, and I'm gonna tell you why. You're making it. I understand you're trying to make it where the adults can actually enjoy the service. However, you're not bringing your children up in the formalities, and I use this word loosely, the formalities of the church, because right now my pet peeves of the church is when I see people get up walking during prayer and just walking out. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, that's not what you do. And like if it's a little baby or something, guess what? You're there and you can slide, back there and you sit until the usher lets you out. But these people, I don't think they really know because they probably attended children's church. And they just walk around roaming. Remember the one was just roaming around across the front. And I said, you don't even use the center aisles. You're supposed to use the outer aisles. And that may be because my grandmother was an usher, but you knew and you were trained Look, I like my grandma was an usher. You go that way. When the pastor is speaking, you go this way. You do not go use the center aisle. And sometimes it's a distraction as well. And I learned that as I got older. Hold on, I'll give you your time. But my pet peeve is that walking around like you at the mall somewhere. And when I say this, it's not just one person because you figure, folks on water pills. I'm sure people probably was on water pills back then too, but you didn't see them up moving around. You go to the bathroom prior. I remember that. My grandmother said, everybody, y'all go into the bathroom. You went to Sunday school. That was our children's church. Sunday school, go to the store, spend your offering money at the store, and then come on back and you snack and eat some now laters in the back. Okay? But you use the outer aisles. These people now, I see them walking around, and I'm looking at the ushers like, you ain't an usher. See, they need them throwback ushers. You ain't no real usher because you already know. Don't you use the center aisle. When I coordinated the wedding, not outer aisle. You late down the side. We're not going to walk up and parade through so we can see your outfit. Get your life. That's not what we're doing. Go ahead.
Now, sometimes there are people that are not familiar with church at all. So they don't know that. But there's a children's church at a local church. And that church does teach the church etiquettes within that church. Because
that's
that
good.
Church is in a whole sanctuary. The children learn how the order of service go. They run it. So
okay, so that's
they
good.
Do everything in there. Yeah.
You need to know when your mother's sitting there and you smacking on that gum and you leaning down, you get the pop. Like that's how you learn some stuff. Like, oh, I ain't allowed to come in here. Wait a minute. I'm chewing this gum.
Yeah, I would see the children's church that I attended was like it was not well structured. I mean, it was structured, but it was not like, I don't know, I guess in the 80s though everything was like, well, what is school like? And we want to make it like school. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it was like, no. This is not,
You didn't want to school. That was your break.
Yeah, like it should be different. I mean, it might be a coloring page here and there, but it was just not what I see at my equal opportunity church.
Okay.
But I seen a really great thing at a Catholic church I went to one time.
What did you see?
With in the beginning, like, okay, all the families come in, and then they end up calling up all the kids to go to their service. But before they go, they're all on the stage because that's the kind of where they got to enter. And there's like this kind of prayer thing that they did. And then the kids left.
Okay.
But then when it's about time to end, they brought the kids back out. And then they kind of sent them back with their families. Like, I don't know if it was like a control thing. Like it's easier to get y'all out of here. Because at Catholic Church, sometimes they have like 4 or 5 services in that one day. You know what I mean?
Hurry up. Our next service is starting.
But I thought it was so beautiful. I was like, look at them praying on the kids before they leave out. And then at my equal opportunity church, for the worship part, they used to have their own worship, but then the pastor left and did it. But now they have them come and do the worship in the beginning with us, and then they walk out.
Okay.
So I don't know. You gotta do what you got people to do.
Pet peeves in a restaurant. I'll start.
Wild, unruly kids. I'm sorry, but I just
That's
had to
it.
get it out.
That's when they got to go to that spot. What's that? Where they throw the peanuts on the floor? The
I
shells.
love the wild unruly kids.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm like, look at this. They just try to come out here and have a good time, knowing that they got to buy something for this kid. This kid is not going to eat. And it's always on the kids' menu. Macaroni and cheese, french fries, tater tots, chicken nuggets or whatever it is,
I was at Red Lobster with somebody who brought their child, and guess what found them? The chef brought the child back out. The child had went in the kitchen. I said, listen, I was with the person. I didn't even notice it. We were so engrossed in the conversation. I forgot all about the little child. The chef brought the child out. We like, oops, how did that happen? Like, come on, the wondering kid.
Yeah.
But my pet peeve at a restaurant is the vacuum, that little sweeper thing, while I'm eating. And they over by my table. You should have done this before.
Up in the air.
Yeah, you should have did this before I was seated. Like, I don't like that. B-Dubs is known for that. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to go.
My restaurant pet peeve. This is mine. Like, if my order is wrong, I just don't order nothing.
You're done?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm done. And it's usually the more expensive the place, the more I am prone to say y'all can keep it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had just in September, I had a situation where I bought a $50 steak, and they brought it out, and it was first of all, I ordered porterhouse. They brought me a T-bone.
Oh.
So I said, I ain't gonna be that much of a jerk. Let me just. If there's a difference in price, I'll say, here's the fossil. You can clearly see this is a T-bone. I need a cheaper price, right? So I go into cutting the steak, and sometimes the way T-bones are is like that one side is really thick, and the other side ain't so thick.
Right.
So I cut into the thin side, and it's like overcooked or whatever. And so they said, well, did you try the other side? And I said, did I ask for a two-tone steak? Or did I ask for a steak that was supposed to be this way across the board? And they said, well, yeah. I was like, yeah. That's like, they said, well, do you want something else? I was like, no, you got one time to mess up a $50 steak.
But wait a minute, they already messed up when you asked for a porterhouse and they gave you a T-bone.
And I was going to let a pass on that, but then you didn't cook it right. And then half the steak is cooked one way and the other half is cooked another. And then you're going to tell me, well, did you try the other side? I paid for the whole thing. It's being cooked the same way.
That's almost like that cake.
Yeah, I tried the other side.
That's the thicker side, because that one is medium well. Is that what you ordered?
Well, I think I got a medium or something like that, or whatever. It was something like medium well, something like that. I think I might have went medium. But the point was like half of the steak was overcooked.
That's hilarious.
And they said, well, did you try the other side?
They blamed you.
I don't need to try the other side. I tried the side that I knew that y'all was going to mess up on. So I can tell y'all to take it back.
They even take it back. I can't
I mean,
believe that they gave you a T-bone when you asked for a porterhouse.
Yeah.
I can't
Maybe
believe they told you to eat one side of a T-bone steak.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, maybe that's like, oh, he won't know.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot. I think they think
he won't know.
Yeah.
That's the way I took it. Like, oh, okay, well, he won't know. Like, he ordered a porterhouse. He gave him a T-bone. He won't know.
And it was the occasion. I didn't want to be all pissy about it because I didn't want to ruin the occasion of why I was buying a $50 steak.
Okay.
But the point was that I was just like, oh no, I won't be. They were like, you don't want anything? Oh no, you can keep everything back there because you're not worth a $50 steak. I didn't say that to them, but in my head,
knew it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, why would I pay y'all again? Like, I already know I'm being charged overpriced. Because if I can buy a 2-pound T-bone for like, what, $15? So I'm giving you $37 just to cook it. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Okay.
And that's if you paying $7.99 a pound.
Oh, okay, he ready. Meat connoisseur.
But I'm just saying. So I'm saying like, okay, like no, I'm cool. And then when you say to me, did I try the other side? I'm like, you can't. You gotta be kidding me, right?
Wait, how old was the waiter or waitress?
How old was she?
Ballpark.
I would say probably somewhere between. I'm gonna say maybe she was 28. Give or take 2 years.
Okay, see, and that's what I had. Remember for my prescription I was getting, and I wanted to use my coupon, which was what, $1 something off or $2.16, and she was like, "Well, it's only $2.16. If you don't give me my discount, like,
yeah,
it's like
how you gonna tell me how to spend my money?
Right?
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah.
What about you, Eddie?
I have an issue when I see them wiping off multiple tables.
With the same towel?
With the same towel.
And
then want me to sit where I just saw you wiping up all this other stuff.
Like they never re-dipped the towel.
Yeah, you ain't dipped it. That's what I was saying. They ain't even rinse it.
No.
Or have a little spray bottle or nothing like that.
I just don't see that as clean.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, we all need to eat at the house.
Yeah. But that's my thing though. Yeah, usually like fast food places, I've rarely ever complained because I know what I'm getting into. Like when I see people get really upset at fast food restaurants, I just laugh.
Do you?
I'm like, man, you didn't pay $2 for that burger, and you upset. Why? You go into the most you giving the most unskilled and when I say this, as far as like training,
He
and
says
things
it
like that,
loosely.
I'm saying as far as like, okay, I'm not saying workers, but I'm saying like if you were going to make a judgment call based off of like what you should expect based on who they should hire. Usually fast food restaurants ain't saying, did you go to a culinary art school?
No.
They ain't saying that.
Right.
They have these protocols in place where they just go and they just say, you do this, you do this, you do this. Orders get messed up all the time. The whole thing is that I got to give your order to you in 3 minutes.
Right. And they train you.
Yeah. So don't get upset about it. Just be like, hey, this ain't what I ordered. One time I went to McDonald's. I went there. And I ordered something and they gave me something that I did not order. And you guess what? I didn't even complain. I just drove off. You know why? Because they gave me like 4 of these sandwiches. Whatever that bag thing was, it was more than what I ordered. Like it was, I was just like, okay, thank you. You know, I was like, I didn't even order fries, but I got like 4 fries right now.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could have probably told them, and I was like, well, what's the point? The line is so long; it's the middle of the night. By the time I get back around, ain't like they're gonna reserve it anyway,
right?
And then I'm gonna be having cold food because they're gonna give me a hot food. They're gonna give me the bag that I should have got in the first place, which is gonna be like 30 minutes cold now.
They gonna sit there and say, "Oh, okay," and the line gonna be held up with the person whose food they have to make over because they gave yours, and they still sitting there waiting.
Yeah, but if I'm at a fast food restaurant and you give my food to somebody else, and then you try to give it back to me, oh no, you keep that.
No, you can't.
That's
do
the
that.
only time that I'll have a dispute.
Be like, it's in your car. Up, wait, and you see them. They like, no, it goes to this.
Absolutely not.
Once
Because
they
they
touch
could
it,
be
it's
a quick
over.
fry grabber. So I'm short fries because I don't know that person's fry habit. So I ain't dealing with that.
Somebody a quick fry grabber.
Because you know how it is. You get people as soon as they get their bag, they hand go in there. They testing the fry to see if it's hot or cold. You know those people.
And then they might be.
So if they
might be a quick fry grabber.
A quick fry grabber. So now my fries is contaminated with somebody else's hands.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So no, you keep that.
Okay. What's yours?
I think
At
that
fast food.
customer service begins at the fast food restaurant. I don't care if it's a $1 fry or a $15 meal. Be nice to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there is this one place, they don't have many around here, but I'm going to tell you, their customer service
is
bananas.
Isn't it off the chain?
I don't even go.
That's why the line be so long.
That's right.
And I was getting ready to go there. I'm like, do you find yourself sitting in that
I will
line? And
sit
McDonald's
there.
that might have like 5 cars. They got 30.
May I have a name for your order?
Right.
You want some ketchup with that? Will you have such and such ready for so and so, please?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't care how much the meal is.
That one place. I know the one place where it's like they take it to a whole new level. They give you like the butter mints when you inside.
I never went inside.
You never went inside?
Never went inside. Now I gotta go inside.
It's closed on Sundays?
Yes.
Their
And
customer
that's
service is awesome. When I go to a different fast food restaurant and the person is really nice to me, I say, you really should be working at this place. That's how, I mean, they set the standard for how that fast food line is supposed to operate.
I am on her thing. I'm on that point because I think about I was like, if I ever owned a place, I would go and say, oh, I remember working with. I'm going to offer certain people certain jobs because I know they work ethic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
So that I would be like, I'll go to that place like, hey, you want to work with for me? You know what I mean? Like, you can leave this place, come work for me. You know?
Okay.
I value you. I'm coming to recruit you. You don't even got to put in an application.
You be like, I got you.
Yeah, no background check required.
I was getting ready to say that's the only place that it could be 30 cars and I'll sit in line. And then, but if it's McDonald's, it'd be 5 cars. I'll be like, listen, I ain't about to sit in this line. This is ridiculous. And I'll pull out. But if I'm at that place, Chick-fil-A, I'll give them a shout out because they got it going on.
Yeah, they do.
If I'm at that place, I'll just sit in the car and I'll just wait patiently because guess what? Somebody's gonna greet me with a smile.
During the holiday season, we stopped there, and guess what they were doing?
What?
They were setting up to have the kids decorate cookies.
Oh, how nice!
Like just free cookies. Like come. It started at a certain time. You had to be there at a certain time to do it, but they were doing that. I was like,
how awesome is that? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had an experience actually at, you guys mentioned McDonald's, I heard you say it. But I had a good experience at the drive-thru window.
Yeah.
And when I had it, I was so shocked. I'm like, oh, how nice. I said, you know what? That's real good. Keep that going. And I complimented the young lady on it,
Yeah.
on her customer service. And just, told her keep that going because that was phenomenal.
Here's my pet peeve. If I order, and this is just a restaurant, if I order some pancakes with sausage or a breakfast sandwich, don't charge me for extra syrup. I have an issue with that. That'll be 50 cents or 25.
Yeah.
No. Pancakes and syrup go together.
Right.
Right.
So,
Wait a minute, they're not included?
well, they'll give you one, but if you want another one, they want to charge. Oh, I've held up the line twice for that. Yes, I have. I personally have held up the line. I said, I'm not paying extra for syrup to go with pancakes. I'm not doing it. Well, I said, just give me my money back. I'm not doing that.
All of it.
Just, hey, give me my money back. Okay, well, ma'am, if you pull up, I shall not. Either you give me the syrup or you give me my money. The line is whole, and it's the line is back there because everybody trying to get their hot cake and muffin and biscuit, and I'm not moving. The syrup, I could see if I was asking for something that doesn't go with this.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, people can get their ketchup. When I go to Chick-fil-A, I can ask for all the ketchup I want.
You can even ask for the other sauces.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, there's
they
no
don't go
problem.
through all
Oh,
of that.
okay. We only spent a nickel on this. Yeah, I'll give you 6 of them.
Yes.
Right.
You know
And
what I
look,
mean?
we so cold, we close on Sunday.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's how we doing it.
They
Yeah, I have an issue with that. Don't charge me for something that goes with what I'm already eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got blessed the other day. I was on the phone and I usually get this $1 iced coffee because it was $1. And I said, well, let me go run and get this before I go ahead and head on to work. I don't know why we like to just go ahead. If we already running late, we got to get some food. So ain't no sense in us being late and hungry. Yes. I don't know. And then you walking in late with the food. They be like, looking at you. But I got the iced coffee and she told me it's no longer $1. It's $1.59. So I'm on the telephone. So it's piping through, So the person I'm on the phone with, they hear this whole conversation. So then I pull up. She's like, oh, you got the iced coffee? I said, yeah. She said, $1. I gave her $1. Boom, kept going. But the lady on the microphone said it was $1.59.
Was this at a place?
I'm like, over 50 billion served. You don't care about that little 59 cents.
Oh, okay. I heard an interesting place at a competing place. At a place with the initials
Yeah.
K&B.
A and B.
K&B.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their iced coffee is high. It's like $2.13.
Yeah.
And I went down the street to go get the $1. When remember that one time I was like, ooh.
Like this is a pet peeve that I recently developed, and it was over the holiday season. It was a place. I'm just gonna put it out there. Bath and Body Works. Man.
Okay.
I'm never going back.
Never going to Bath and Body
Never
Works?
going back.
Why?
Because it said 3 items for $32 and maybe 50 cents.
Okay.
And then you get 2 free ones.
Okay.
I go to the thing with my 5 items and they tell me $46. And I'm like, I don't understand why this is $46. Because I was told that the stuff on this wall was $12.50 and then you get the 3 things for whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't. So when I get there, you tell me, oh, well, this one is more than the other one. I was like, well, I'll be right back. Gave them that, and the price was still like $44. I'm like, what? No, what's going on here? And then it's like, well, what happens is that all the prices are the same. I was like, well, why would you say that everything on this wall here is this price, and you're not gonna honor that? And I was like, we're gonna have to reevaluate how we shopped here. We'll be back. And I left that bag of stuff with the people at the register and walked out and went and bought stuff from somewhere else.
Okay.
Because I was just like, that's ridiculous.
I can see that. Look at him. He said, I don't
I'm still
understand what's
upset
going
about
on.
it.
Like that one lady. What was that? Christmas? Was it Christmas? We were up at the dollar store and I had my stuff up on the counter.
Oh, yes.
Bothered me because I put my stuff up on the counter. Now, all was well, already in the line. Didn't come out and just hop in the line right there. Light still on. That means you're working. Had a full-on conversation because live studio audience was behind me talking to the person that was in front of me, okay? I'm still there. Then all of a sudden, because another lady, she came that I knew. She was like, come on over here, Mel. So I'm over there talking, like 5 minutes, maybe 3. Already in the line. So I put half of my stuff up on the counter. And then the one lady happened to look, the one that told me to come on over, she's like, oh, Mel, I didn't know you had that much stuff. And then the lady says to me, who's ringing me out, she says, oh, can you take your stuff off of the conveyor belt? I said, for what? She's like, because I'm about to close.
About to close.
So, see, he went with me.
So you can close after you take care of my order.
Then. Now, what did I say? I don't know. What did I say?
I don't understand.
Right.
I don't understand.
Because I heard about.
Your light is on,
Mm-hmm.
and
You're about to close.
I don't understand what you're asking me to do.
And she was like, well, I don't know what it was. And then Live Studio audience saying, there's a way to say it, man. I thought I said it okay.
Well, because then after the lady did not change, she repeated what she said. She said, ma'am, you should have turned your light off. And that's why I told her, there's a way of
She
saying
should have turned her light off if you
If your
closed.
stuff was already on the belt,
It
tell
was.
the person behind you that after this lady, I am closed.
Exactly.
And then shut your light off and ring you out.
Right.
What
That's-
happened to customer service training?
And that's where
That's
I
exactly
was at.
how that was
I was
supposed to
not
go.
wrong.
No, you
I
weren't.
was not wrong at all. And I'm sitting there like, and then the operative word was about.
Yeah, about.
I'm like, if she says I'm closed, then that's different. But I was already in the line for
If
3
she
minutes.
was closed and your stuff is already on the belt, shut down the person behind you, ring you out, and that's it. That is customer
Was
service.
it a shift
Right.
change?
No,
It wasn't shift
I
change or
don't care.
anything.
Oh, she was
And then
going
this
on
is
a
what
break
she
from
wanted.
it?
Now I already just scanned it because she said, well, I had him come up, so it was 2 other lanes that were full. But I didn't, like I said, if I had just walked up there, no, I was already in the line for like 3 minutes having a full-on conversation with the person that she was ringing and checking
If she
out.
was going to close, she should have caught you while you were putting your stuff on the belt. Once your stuff went on the belt, I don't care if the store was closed.
Yeah.
Check you out and then shut it down.
Yeah.
And the only reason all my stuff wasn't on the belt is because the other lady was still there.
Yeah. So you're trying to put stuff on the belt, but you couldn't because it was
Right.
not enough room on
And
the
she
belt.
said, can you take your stuff off? But
No, I cannot.
absolutely. Yeah, ring
In
me
that
out.
case, all you can say is manager.
Right.
Because there's nothing.
But she rung me out.
Okay.
I bet she did.
Because there's nothing I can say to you that's gonna make you solve this problem, except for getting somebody else who is gonna solve it.
Right.
That's like sometimes I have to call, especially.
I said, I got to go to work. Because I was on my way to I was like, I got to go to work. And I'm looking at that line. But here's the thing. The main thing to me in that process was I was in that line for like
You were
3 to 5
already
minutes.
there. That's right.
We were talking. She was talking to the person that was getting rung out. So it wasn't like I just swooped over there. No, I was in the line. I was in the line that, like I said, the live studio audience was behind me.
So I have a question. What's more important, the product or customer service?
Customer
can you-
service.
Customer service, because you can buy this crap anywhere.
That's right.
Customer service. And
mean,
usually you
that's-
go places because of the
Yeah.
customer service. You'll buy the product and it don't be worth
Like-
crap, but you like the customer
Yeah,
service.
Like that's one reason I go to this big box membership place that I had to. Like I tell people, I like to think of it as the place is Samantha Samantha Club. And she loves me, and she does her best to make sure that I'm happy.
Right. You said big boss.
Yeah, I mean, what is it, the bulk store? They're like, what are you getting there all the time? I'm getting everything. I love it.
Anything I want because they are freaking awesome. Let's go with the Shop Talk question of the week. We got several of them coming up right now. You see your ex and you're with a new love. Do you speak or ignore them?
Speak. Happened to me.
You speak?
Speak, always.
Okay.
Yeah, because guess what? You usually the person you with don't even know that person is somebody. Like, so it's like, why you acting funny to them? You cause more issue by not speaking than if you speak.
Okay. Well, Prince Harry didn't do that.
Yeah.
Prince Harry, they were out. Him
Well,
and
he's
Meghan
Prince.
were out. And he didn't speak to his ex.
He a prince.
He a prince, so he doesn't have to.
He a prince.
However, he did consult his ex. Well, I wouldn't use the term consult. He did speak to his ex before he actually married Meghan because he had proposed to her,
To Meghan or the ex?
to the
So
ex.
the ex.
And then just recently, that's where this Shop Talk question of the week was inspired. It was inspired by him walking past and didn't even acknowledge his ex. I said, Meghan probably told me you better not speak to
Yeah,
him.
it might have been some drama.
Or maybe she asked him. Maybe she's having a time, and maybe she asked him,
Don't
when
ever
you with
speak
her,
to me again.
Please don't even speak to me.
I thought it was first of all, he shouldn't have never even had to come to her or talk to her like, hey, listen, I'm getting married. Like, why are you talking to your ex to say you're getting married to this person?
Because I had a situation where I invited a ex to my wedding, and this ex was like extreme ex because it's been so long.
Okay.
And I was told that I should have because when I sent text messages out, and so I was told that I should have had a conversation prior to this with this person. I'm like, why?
What? Why?
Why? What would? Why?
Why do you
I
have to
that?
have a conversation with your ex because you're marrying somebody else?
Yeah.
If
why
there's
would
no
I-
love
like,
there.
why would I do that? I'm not. Like, why would I do that?
So my question was, I said, what was Prince Harry thinking? Was he pretty much like, I don't want to hurt her feelings. It's getting ready to be everywhere. I'm getting ready to propose. Like, I just want to give you a heads up, just out of common courtesy. Is he just a good guy, or what? What was the purpose here? Did he really like her, and he just needed her to say, "Well, I want to marry you,"
Well,
even though he's the one that like called it off?
Why didn't she marry him? Oh, he called
He
off
called,
the first.
mhm.
Okay. Well, maybe he was just maybe he called at the wedding, but maybe they were still
Friends.
Yeah.
And maybe that's exactly what Live Studio audience said. Talking about maybe she ain't want him speaking to her.
Yeah, maybe
That's
they're
what I
more
would
than
think,
friends.
too.
Maybe
All right.
Yeah.
All right. If the engagement is off, should the ring be returned?
Yep.
Who called it off?
I don't have that information. This is somebody.
Returned.
Return?
No matter who calls it off,
If
it
you
should be
gave
returned.
me a ring and I'm willing to marry you, and for whatever reason you said no, I probably would give it back, but I don't think I should have to. I probably would, but I don't think the woman should have to give it back. If you weren't sure that that's what you wanted to do, then you shouldn't have gave it to me.
Well, this
I
is
thought it was a gift.
no.
It's not a
It's
gift.
not a
Purpose.
gift. It's not a
That was a
gift.
purpose.
It's a pre-covenant.
Yeah. Now, if it's like if the marriage,
That's good, Kim.
if after you've actually married the person, then it's theirs. But prior to that marriage, that ring still belongs to the person who's paying for it.
Whatever happened to Black No Trade Back? We ain't doing that no more.
Nah,
Snatchy's
not
no
on
snatch
that.
back. Yeah, I'm on a because I've actually seen where there's been I don't want to say witnessed this. How do you say it when you? Okay, a girl I dated had told me about a guy who gave her a ring and she had no intentions of marrying him and she kept it.
Oh, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wrong.
different.
That's wrong.
You know what I mean? I was like, but why did you keep it? You should have gave it.
She had no
you
intention of
should-
marrying him. She shouldn't have
None.
accepted it.
None.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She shouldn't have
exactly.
taken
She
it.
shouldn't have accepted it.
That's
You
right.
know, but she took that ring, and I was like, "Yeah, you wrong.
That was wrong.
You wrong."
Yeah, she shouldn't.
You know?
But then, if the engagement, okay, if he called the wedding off, why do you even want any parts of him?
She doesn't. She wants the ring.
Yeah, but for what? Because every time you see the ring, you're going to see that individual.
'Cause-
Or are you using it to say, okay, you see, this is the ring that I got, so when the next person comes, they know what that person is, so they need to upgrade, because this is what she used to. Like, is there a plan behind this?
I think more or less it's it's the one dig that you can kind of have, like the person can have. Like, well, I'm keeping this ring, and then the guy has to make a decision on, is it worth arguing with you about this ring? Because obviously I've expressed to you I don't want to spend my life with you.
Okay.
So me having you keep this couple $1,000 ring may be the best parting gift I could ever ask for. I had a cousin told me once, I let somebody borrow $10, and I said, man, this person, they ain't paid me back, but they won't even speak to me, really, and they owe me money. And he's like, that's money well spent.
Yeah, because you ain't got to deal with that person no more.
Exactly.
Or them asking you for nothing else.
So in that whole thing with the ring, even though I think it should be given back, the whole thing with the ring for me, though, is like, if it's going to be that last parting thing and you ain't got to worry about that person for 45 years or whatever, keep it.
Okay, well,
But give it back.
we got a bunch of comments, and it's mixed. This one young lady says she should keep the ring because in my case, I paid for it. I should have known he wasn't the one.
Well, then, that's a totally different. That doesn't even fit the scenario.
And then some said no. This is a guy, if she calls it off, then yes. But But if she does, she should keep it. I don't know. I can't read it anyway. I'm gonna need y'all to do spell check. That was just seemed too much. I called my wedding off, but I kept the rings. I put them up for my rainy day fund. Okay.
She called the wedding off, but she kept the rings.
But she kept the rings.
To pawn them.
Depends on, you said boo, depends on who called it off. That's the same one. I kept both of my sets. I say keep the ring. These are a lot of girls. The guy who has possession of the ring when the breakup occurs, who initiated the breakup, this can be a real court case. Now, an attorney actually responded, and this is what the attorney said. Ohio law, guessing that these people are from Ohio, but they aren't. Ohio law in most jurisdictions hold that an engagement ring is a conditional gift giving in contemplation of marriage.
Oh, pre-covenant. Go to girl.
Without regard to fault. So it don't matter whose issue it was.
Yeah.
It must be returned if you do not get married.
Yeah.
So, yes, pre-covenant. So, that's the Ohio law. Ramon says, these people are all over, yay. I used to think she should keep it if he ended it, but why would anyone want to keep a ring, memories, of a liar, cheater, or a person who just doesn't want them anymore?
Because at one point in time, she felt that she was worthy and special, and she may never get that opportunity again. And keeping the ring sometimes is a validation move because it reminds you that at some point in time, somebody cared enough to give you that.
I ain't keeping that like a shrine. That's nuts.
Because that's what you would not do.
It's like,
it sounds like that thing where I got the physical proof. He was liking me like this, but not enough to, to me, get the ring back.
Give it back.
I would give it back, but I would see why some people wouldn't give it back.
This guy
people.
says that's why they shouldn't have got rid of common law. This is just too much to risk. So he like, we're not even gonna do this. It's like it's too much to risk. So you just say, oh, we just common law live together. Boy, bye. They're hilarious. Hilarious. But I love the shop talkers out there. They doing it. And you know how you have your counselors. Everybody love counselors. And that's just what Facebook is. A counselor. They can't counsel their own lives, but they go counsel somebody else's. Straight entertainment. Big time entertainment. So we do know that in New Jersey, there was a hospital, and I got to talk about it real quick before we go off. There was a hospital that is under fire. They may have contaminated over, 3,000 people with HIV, Hep B, or Hep C.
What?
Yes. I had to put it out there. It's a surgery center. And in this particular surgery center, after I read a little bit more on it, and the reason that those many people could potentially be contaminated is because they had they weren't cleaning the instruments well
over a period of time. Mm-hmm. So they did have surgery with someone who potentially
obviously had it.
Had it.
Proper cleaning procedures.
Had it.
Didn't use universal precautions.
Yes, had it. So, an ambulatory surgery center in New Jersey may have exposed thousands of patients to HIV and hepatitis due to lapse in infection control and sterilization. The state's Department of Health said on Monday more than 3,700 patients who had procedures done at, and I'll tell you because it's public knowledge, Health Plus Surgery Center. That's one of the top surgery centers in Saddlebrook, New Jersey, may have been exposed to bloodborne illnesses such as HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C, according to the statement from the center. So the center actually let people know.
So
the patients were arrested.
Shut them down.
This is the time. This is how they got the 3,000 people. If you had surgery between January the 1st and September the 7th of 2018, look at that. 9 months.
They know something else. Something else happened.
Somebody probably end up with something, and they like, wait a second, and
yeah, but it sounds like something happened. Because something happened. I think it's there's more of a conspiracy to this.
Well, you know something happened that they had to bring it out to the public's
Yeah,
view.
but I think like something happened. I don't think this was. It doesn't seem like it was. It was
wasn't
unintentional.
It wasn't a. Oh, you think somebody did this on purpose?
I think so.
That's interesting. Some inside job.
I
huh?
think so.
All right. Well, we're going to try to do a quick rewind really, really fast of what happened in 2018. What do you remember besides your 45? He was on the news the whole year. What stands out to you that happened in 2018 that should not be taken into 2019?
This should not be taken.
That should not. A standout of 2018 that should not be taken into 2019 besides 45. I think we all in agreement that it'll need to be taken into 2018. While you think of that, remember we talked about the dying jobs or professions. They had 25 of them, but I'm thinking like travel agents. They like, bye-bye, see ya. Yeah. The travel agents, mortgage brokers. I know a mortgage broker who is now a nurse. It was like, bookkeepers, nobody really.
Everybody's doing their own thing
right
now. So
now the one that really got me was the lawyer. The lawyer, they're saying that's a dying profession.
Legal services online, and before you would have to go to attorneys for certain documents, living wills, divorces. Now you can do all of that on your own. So I could see that.
All right, now guess what? This is one that I'm interested in. Broadcasters. They said that's a dying profession. Yeah. Want to know why?
Social media?
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Everybody's streaming like we doing right now. This is going to be the new radio. It's like, oh man, what's happening? Got to do what you got to do. Then they're like the DJs that's on your local radio stations. They're bringing it over to the internet, DJing live on the internet.
Yeah, I watched this show on it's a science show. And the guy, his show was a spinoff of another show, but he has like it's like I think he gets like sponsorships or something like that for whatever. But he has about 130,000 regular
awesome
viewers probably. It's a good show.
And postal workers.
I don't know if I believe that statistic.
Well, you know why? Because everybody's doing stuff online.
They
mailing the stuff, and you're losing your people.
I think the only reason I think differently about that is because they have an opportunity to be able to, and this is something that Trump was mad about. I didn't hear the whole story, but it was something like he was mad at Amazon because they wanted to cut a deal or something like that with the post office about different rates or something like that. And my thoughts are, with everyone getting everything mailed to them from literally toilet paper to beds, there's an opportunity there for the Postal Service to exist in a way that is different than what it was before. Because there's going to be certain correspondence that's always going to be, IRS is always going to mail it to you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're not going to say, well, we're going to send you an email because systems get hacked all the time. You know what I mean? So I think there's an opportunity for the Postal Service to evolve in a different way.
Okay. Well, I want to get through to this part of it as far as I usually do Mel's Medical Moments, but I want to give the seniors something to look forward to that they don't know. 15 discounts that seniors did not know they could get. And that is a discount on your utilities, timeshares. A lot of people are getting rid of timeshares too, because it's like, who's like vacationing? Free or reduced college tuition. How about that if you're a senior? If you owe more than $15,000 on your credit card, guess what? You could get the debt plan, payoff plan. Also, on repairs to your home, depending on who's, involved in that promotion. Let's see here. I told you utility bills. They have that new thing going around where everybody's going solar, like with their roof.
Yes.
So they are doing that for the seniors. They're pretty much doing it for free. And listen, you heard those words pretty much, right? Discount on your car insurance. What's happening with that? A lot of people don't know that they get that. ADT system discount on that. Let's see what else is there that's really, really good. Auto repairs, depending on who's involved in that promotion, you get up to 60% off. Roofing, those type things. Dining out discounts, you already know we talked about all the bad food, and always use your senior discount. 10% at Arby's. Guess what Chick-fil-A got?
What's that?
Free small drinker coffee, just like Wendy's. The Waffle House, 10% off meals on Mondays. Burger King, 10% discount on if you're 60 and older. That's the same thing. Steak and Shake, they're quite expensive, 55 and older. McDonald's, you already know the discounts on coffee. 10% at IHOP. Let's see some of the good ones. 10% off at Golden Corral. Do we even have a Golden? No, they have it in like Sharon or something, right? Subway, 10% off. This little stuff just adds up. Perkins, let's see, 55 plus menu offers special deals. So it only got a certain amount. I guess they crying like, no, we can't do too much. Chili's Bar and Grill, 10% off. And Papa John's.
Don't shop at Papa John's.
That's probably why they the highest at 25% off.
Yeah.
25% off.
He did some racially motivated.
Yep, and it was recorded.
Yeah.
And it was recorded. So there you have it. Look, I'm like, we'll do that. That's not the Mel's Medical Moments, but I definitely had to give you your quick tips on how to do it. Yeah, if you're a senior.
Yeah.
If you're a senior. So some of them don't know that know their benefits, and then there are some people that do, like the kids. The kids know. They'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's use this and give me your handicap sticker so I can park here.
Jeez.
What you over there bumping your gums about, laughing and giggling?
Because people be using post-handicap stickers.
All the time. Be like, let me use that. Let me use my mama's stuff.
Handicap police that think that nothing's wrong with you and they fuss you out.
And yeah, because you're walking. Just because I don't look like it, I don't mean I don't have nothing going on.
I can't help I can do a cartwheel into the store.
Into the store. Doing it up. Any last words or suggestions for the people going into 2019?
I don't know how to condense this, but I'll say this. I had a conversation with a person yesterday, and I said to them that where is this energy that we're supposed to get to say that this year is going to be, I'm going to do this or whatever when you're coming off of such a hard year. Like I didn't realize how hard 18 was. It wasn't until yesterday. Someone mentioned it's like, it's been a really bad year. And I was like, has it? And then I thought about it. I had a tough year in 18, but I guess my thing was I didn't let it control my happiness.
Okay.
I had obstacles, but I was still cool. It just seemed like it was always something after the other. And I thought about it like I'm going into 19 with the same 18 issues.
You going to 19? Well, you should. We got to let it go. All right, go ahead. Because
it is, yeah. Go ahead.
Anything.
Well, I think that in 2019, we should begin the year knowing that we attract what we think. What we think is what we become. We also need to know that we should allow people to be who they are. You are not going to change anybody. Don't impose your will on somebody else. Mm-hmm. I think that you should understand the law of deliberate creation. Whatever you do, you have set your life up for wherever you are today. Pay attention to who you are. Pay attention to what you do. And allow yourself to become who you think you want to become.
Okay.
Stop using the phrase, it is what it is. That's it.
Stop using that. It is what it is. That's a cop-out, huh?
Yeah. I don't like it.
All right. New Year's resolution.
For me, personally, I gained 60 pounds that I got to give back to somebody. So I need to lose weight. He
say you got to give back to somebody. It's on that thingy.
I gotta figure out how it happened. Who do I gotta give it back to?
Okay.
So that's one thing for me.
Is it? So you want to get fit again?
Yeah. And this time it gotta be for keeps because I'm at one of those ugly numbers right now.
Okay.
As far as the weight is an ugly number, but my birthday is coming up next month, and it's an ugly number.
So is that your goal to get it off by that date?
Nah, I wish I could get off by that date. I could probably get some off by that date, but the issue is that like the numbers keep getting uglier, and so there's one thing I can't control, and it needs to be that.
Okay. What about you? New Year's
I
resolution?
don't have any New Year's resolutions, but what I am going to try to do is try to be more cognizant of not trying to impose what I think someone else's will for themselves should be. I'm going to have to allow people to be who they are. And when you are a coach and you have insight and you can see that potential and that actual, sometimes you want to sort of steer that person there. We have to allow people to come to it in themselves. And that way they'll be much more, they'll be more strong about it.
Interesting. You know the mission of Shop Talk with Mel. It is. It's okay to be you.
Yes.
And I always
Yes.
finish with find you, embrace you, and love you.
That's really where it starts.
That's when it's okay to be you.
where
Like,
it
do
starts.
you? And you have to motivate yourself.
I would say another thing would be just complete. Everyone talks about that one goal. Okay, for me, I said weight loss, but that's sort of like a life thing. I got to do that. Period. But I need to. You just need to do that. You know. But that one goal that somebody wants to achieve, that one thing, if it's writing that book, if it's doing whatever, I just challenge everybody just to start the first thing. You may not even complete it, but at least start it.
All right, I
know
like
what I
that. I like that. If you listen to my Be Inspired yesterday, that's what I talked about it. And I want to say that in case you didn't know, because some people say they don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I said that's so sad because a New Year's resolution is nothing other than setting a goal.
Yeah.
That's it. And accomplishing it. So let me give you today's footnote. Stop focusing on what happened and start focusing on what's going to move you forward, which is what all of us actually said. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. I thoroughly enjoyed you. Yeah. I'm up here like Sylvester the Cat. You know what I'm saying? I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. Y'all know what it is. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop Talk. Right here. You want to look like this again? I found this picture yesterday. Look at that picture.
I gotta put my glasses.
Yes, I found that picture. Look at the old photos. Take it easy, y'all. I love you for listening. I'm telling you, it's a live show. I forgot to end it. Peace.